Good morning and welcome to What's New with Mike and Jeff, your Saturday morning hobby hangout coming to you live via the interwebs. I'm your host, Mike, and Jeff will be with us shortly. He's off watching his grandson's soccer game, and he said he'd be home probably around 9:30, which would be 7:30 our time, because he does not live in Arizona. Good morning, Adam. How are you, buddy? So we're still celebrating Orktober, and I finished my Stampa. So I've moved on to another project, which is Chapa, the Chapa. So this is a I forgot to turn my autofocus off. Hold on one second. So let me address that issue, because nothing annoys me more than autofocus with these silly webcams. Let me see if that worked. Yes, because the whole screen kind of bounces. Good morning, Joe. Joe has survived the wasp apocalypse of 2022, with with having 4 wasp nests. I'm sorry, 2021, at his house, at the 4 wasp nests. That's crazy. Good morning, Raymond. How are you, buddy? Your Necron model looked amazing. I love that. It was just a cool model. So, anyways, so this is Chapa, and basically I just glued on a special weapon, and it's a chopper trike conversion. I made this model years and years ago when orcs didn't have a lot of cool stuff, and you had to make it. You had to buy other model kits, and they were more affordable. Like the price point was lower, and they were designed differently. Chopping models up back in the day was a lot easier than it is today, because a lot of the models are molded in such a way that to hide seam lines, and they're better models, don't get me wrong, but a little bit harder to chop up, but you can still do it. Good morning, Lenny. How are you, buddy? Tonight you're going to be doing Call of Cthulhu. I'm excited. Hopefully I can tune in. We'll see how my day goes. If I can, I will pop in and say hi. Thanks. Been on a Yes, Raymond, you have been on a Necron kick. You have been going nuts, getting your monolith and getting all your treeing features and all your other stuff painted up. So very cool. So anyways, this is what I'm going to finish out October with. I've also been slowly working on another a side project, a side Gaslands project. One of the things that I've been looking at doing is upscaling Gaslands a little bit. And there's a pretty good variety of 1/32 scale die-cast cars on the market. This is a old school like truck, and so I wanted to build up a small team. I just want to get like four to 6 models put together, because I want to create a demo board that is a little bit more visually appealing to people walking by. So it's just something I'm working on for playing at conventions and things like that. So this is something I've been working on. So the first thing I had to do, my light is going to cause my eyes to go blind. For this particular vehicle, I had to make a truck bed. What they had on it was basically like a tonneau cover, which just covered the very top of this. And I wanted a truck bed because I'm using 1/35 scale model components to build these vehicles for the most part. And I got like gas cans and 55-gallon drums and stuff. So I want to put some of that in the truck bed. So I wanted to make it look more like that. But I did find some cool weapons. And I'll see if how close I can get before my camera goes wonky with that. Found this cool weapon. It's a little tri-barrel like machine gun. Oh, there you can see how I built the bed. And basically that came off of this Batmobile 1/32 scale vehicle. Found this at Walmart. and it had like 4 different weapons on it. It had 2 of the machine guns. It had a 50 cal. I'm gonna call it a 50 cal rifle, and then it had some missile pods. Plus, it has these really cool big wheels in the back. So this just became a donor car. So um, watch the show after your light level is too high. You washed out. Yeah, I don't know. I can tone it down a little bit. I gotta find buttons. I just gotta press buttons. So that can help tone it down a little bit. Anyways, so this is became a donor car, but I've got some cool wheels I'm gonna pull off of it, and then afterwards, the rest of this is just gonna be chop up scrap. But anyways, so this is a project I've been working on during the week. I made up new templates. I'm not going to be able to get. Yeah. So I made templates. Basically, there we go. Much better. So basically, I went to Adobe Reader and I was able to increase the printing. I printed on a basically poster. One of the things with Adobe is you can print, you can put it into a poster, and then you can scale accordingly. So went to a poster print, which basically printed all the templates out onto like 8 sheets of paper, ideally meant to cut and glue together into a poster. So I was able to double these up because this is what I want to, and they're just glued to cardboard, nothing fancy, nothing special. Little home crafting project, I guess. But I just kind of glued them all together and got them made out. And this is just going to be used for testing. If this works and I'm happy with it and I feel it's a fun game to play, then what I'll end up doing is getting these laser cut out of MDF or acrylic. I'll contact one of the Etsy providers. There's lots of Etsy companies out there that make normal templates for Gasland. So I'm sure they'd be more than happy to charge me a bunch of money to double it up and make me some larger templates. Again, this is a little side project. I do these things. I'm a big fan of what I like to call convention gaming. Convention gaming is a lot different than regular gaming. Easy to rule, you kind of streamline the rules a little bit. You may take some things out of a rules system because it's meant for people who are just walking by like, what's that? Looks cool. I want to play. And you're not sitting there bogging down people with rules. Like I couldn't make, trying to make 40K convention game would be doable, but you'd have to change a lot of the rules to make it easy, fun for people to learn how to play. I kind of look at convention gaming kind of like role-playing games. A lot of role-playing games will do like a starter set, like a starter box set, where they put a lot of the rules in, but they change them up a little bit. They make them a little bit easier before you go out and buy the hefty rule book and learn how to play the actual rules. Like one starter box sets are meant to get someone in, get them hooked, get them addicted. First taste is free, ladies and gentlemen, and then move them along into the actual world in the game. So good way. And again, if you're ever trying to learn a new RPG, one of the best things to do is if they make a starter box, go buy the starter box. They're usually a lot cheaper. And you get a lot of great content. Like you could just simply play starter box sets and never get into the book buying syndrome that comes with any game these days. It seems like all we do is buy books and cards and doohickeys and very little to do with the game. You could just get starter boxes. The old D&D red box, blue box. You can still play those all day long. Call of Cthulhu does cool convention games. They're designed for it. Adopted a couple of them, and Call of Cthulhu starter box is amazing. Yeah, I think when I joined you guys on your Call of Cthulhu campaign, we were just playing out of the starter box. I don't think we were playing the actual rules. If I'm mistaken, I think that's what you mentioned. I could be wrong. But yeah, starter boxes are a great way. And again, that's what a convention game would be, specifically designed for anybody to walk up. And that's what I want to create with this Gaslands. Totally. That's what I want to create with Gaslands. There are a few rules in Gaslands I don't use, I don't like. I don't know if I've ever talked about it here, but I've had conversations when demoing the game. Somebody that's read the rule book will like, "Oh, that's not how it works." I'm like, you're right. That's not how the rules are written, but I don't like that rule. So these are my house rules that I teach people. And really, the only thing there's only the two rules. One is the tailgating rule. I don't like it. It leads to manipulation of the rules that just don't make sense. And basically, because a motorcycle could basically stop a semi in its tracks with the tailgating rule, it just seems weird. And the shift dice, how you're supposed to use that resource. I just say use them, but you're technically not supposed to use them to remove hazards when you just get them that turn. It's timing of how you spend stuff. Anyways, that's me rambling. So I like to kind of teach a convention game. That's what I want to do with these cars, because I am scheduled to go to the Las Vegas Open in January. There's only one rule: have fun. Yes, Joe. That is the only rule we should be focused on with gaming. Does this make the game fun? Yes, let's do it. Especially with role-playing games. Again, you guys, I'm on a huge role-playing game kick right now. Really diving deep into a lot of solo play role-playing games, because I'm trying to get a little bit more into the writing, get a little bit more creative in my writing and journaling, and because that's kind of what you do in solo role-playing games versus group role-playing games. Because in solo, it's you and your imagination, so you're kind of writing stuff down and you're keeping like a little bit of a journal about your adventure and just having a little bit of fun. We totally put in game like if you want anytime, dude. I'll take you up on that. I'm just trying to free up some schedule time. On Saturday nights are wife nights. I usually hang out with the wife, so I know I can't do it on a regular basis, but definitely want to get back into your guys' Call of Cthulhu game. Bruno wants to come back around, play some more bass, and beat up some more bad guys. Don't adjust for me, dude. That's your group, man. You gotta do what you do. I'll adjust around it. I just gotta find some time, buddy. But anyways, yeah. So solo playing is something I've been doing a lot about, and also I get to play my way. And there's something to be said about that, especially with the new role playing game genres that are out there. A lot of the rules are real crunchy, and there's a lot more going on in them, where I'm kind of like going back to which is known as OSR, old school Renaissance, playing old D&D and like red box, blue box, advanced D&D, older rules where the rules are light. There's not a lot of crunch to the rules, basic stats, basic stuff, and it's all about writing the adventure. It's getting more into the GM telling a story or the group telling a story versus looking at a rule book and looking at rule sheets and stuff. So enough of that. That's something I've been doing. So outside of that, I don't really have anything else going on. So I'm going to go ahead and switch cameras on y'all. I got to do the old kidnap thing first, because as Joe pointed out, my white lights are not balanced, and when I turn on my overhead lights, I will flood the screen. So this is the bike, the chopper that I've been working on. Last week we started just doing some painting. I got to finish up a little bit of detail painting on the wheels, but I think today what I really want to focus on is getting the rider kind of painted up, so we kind of have an idea of where the colors are going. And then I got to start getting some washes on it and make some really tough decisions on, like, do I want to paint the The forks on the front, silver. Do I want to leave it all yellow? I do need to break this color up. It's a lot of yellow right now. I am thinking heavily of doing a checker pattern on the fender, at least one fender with checker pattern, maybe the other fender with another pattern. We'll see. That's the joy of painting, is you get to be creative and do whatever you want to do. So yeah, I'm just going to go ahead and get started. I know Jeff will be joining us. Hopefully when Jeff joins, he'll have the photos so that we can show some photos. Is the final model going to be an orc on a choppa? On a choppa with a choppa. It's good. Yes. Yes, this is my orc on a choppa with a choppa. So I got to get my Arnold Schwarzenegger voice down. Get to the choppa. So, yes, it's an orc on a choppa with a choppa. And there's no other weapons. Like I was thinking about gluing another weapon on this bike, like some sort of gun or something. And I don't know. I was just kind of happy with the way it sat. I'm okay with it. And yeah, that may create some sort of a rules issue in the game. Because it's, 40K is what you see is what you get kind of a game. And I don't have, all I have is a close combat weapon for the most part, which would be a choppa. And so I guess I could have him just be the leader of my motorcycle gang. My motorcycle gang, yes. I'm going to have an orc motorcycle gang. All right, now I got to start painting bikes. So I can I can create this motorcycle gang of vigilante orcs going around tormenting the poor citizens of the 40K universe. We got to come up with a biker name. I don't know what a good orc biker name is going to be off the top of my head, because most biker gangs, like Sons of Anarchy, I could do Sons of Gork or Mork, whichever you prefer to ride on, whichever side you want to ride on. I don't know a lot of biker gangs that are like, obviously we got the Hell's Angels. I know that's a outlaw syndicate biker gang. But I've been seeing them riding in my city lately. So that's been interesting. When I'm out working, I've seen a couple of them floating through our city, and I was like, I didn't know that chapter or they were still even around. I used to have to deal with the Hells Angels when I worked for the county, because they had their chapter house was in South Phoenix, and we'd go out there for strays, and it's all fenced off and barbed wire, and it was quite surreal. So I don't know. Sons of Gork might work. I didn't know that criminal element was still around. So I just need to do that front tire up a little bit, because I forgot that I left it free spinning so that I could paint it better. And when I was painting it last week, I kind of just left it solid. So we're going to pull out some green. So one of the benefits of my painting style with my orcs, especially when I'm doing stuff like this, is I've already got a base coat of yellow on them. So when I put my green on them, it really helps, because the green will kind of wash into it a lot nicer. I just need to I didn't pull out my orc flesh green before I got started. Green skin flesh. So I'm going to use a fantasy game color by Scale 75, and this is my green skin flesh. So it's a dark green. And then after I do the green, then I'll do a wash of green over it to really darken the recesses, and then I'll highlight over it with some lighter greens, and that's my orc flesh. But right now, I just want to start getting some colors down so that I can. It's going to be really hard to paint his face. I guess I can attack it from there. This was one of those models that I probably should have left certain pieces off and painted it, but I really wanted to build it and customize it and do a bunch of stuff with it. There's also a lot of pinning work in here, like the handlebars themselves, the handles and his arms, the way his arms are like this. I had to cut the handles off and cut the old bars off and put pins in to readjust it so that it would fit the model. So there's a lot of work in that aspect. So everything kind of had to be built so that I could make sure it all worked. And I never took it back. Gork's Angels. Rolling Green. I like Rolling Green. Rolling Green. The Chapawag. The Chapawag. The Chapawag. I could work. Those are good names. I like those. So maybe I'll do that. Maybe I'll paint up a little biker gang because I know bikes are, I don't know if they're getting new models anytime soon, but I still like the old models. So there's no reason to change. So I'll just leave it the way it is. Paint me up some bikers. I wonder how that would do as an army list, though. Oops. Get on screen, Mike. Probably just do it as like as a detachment. Just have like a little, have the Chapawag detachment. And I know they've got the character on basically a trike, so maybe I could roll him as that character. I just won't have all the actual weapons, but I think most people might be okay with it. All right. Trying not to make a mess of things. That is important when painting. Stay within the lines. I've been watching a lot of scary movies. Well, suspenseful kind of scary movies lately. Just having getting in the mood for Halloween. I have started watching Dune, and I got about an hour into it before I had to go to bed because I was exhausted. And it's like I think it's a 2-hour movie, 2.5-hour movie, something like that. So I'm about an hour into Dune. And I know Lenny was raving about it. At first, he wasn't too sure about it, but now he seems to be liking it. Because he posted that on Facebook. Yeah, it's 2 hours and 35 minutes. So I got into it about an hour. Dune was really good. No spoilers, but I didn't think it was going to be all that great, and I was really surprised. Yeah, Jason Momoa. Yeah, Jason Momoa does a good job in a lot of his when he does his action-packed characters. How faithful is it to the book? I couldn't answer that question. Maybe Lenny could answer that question. I was never really a big Dune fan as far as the book went. I don't think I never read it. So I don't know. More faithful to the book than I thought it would be. There you go. But visually, and without spoiling it, visually, it is a great movie. Like if you just want to watch a really cool sci-fi movie, and don't even worry about the book and if you just want to watch a really cool sci-fi movie, Dune is visually very appealing. They did a really cool job bringing the world to life, and I appreciate that. It looks really nice, just visually, like just something to watch. More, which I really like. It is Lord of the Rings. Attention to setting and detail. Yes. So that would probably explain why it took so long to create it. Just like Lord of the Rings took forever to create. So if that's all, if you just want to check it out, as far as the visual effects, great little movie to watch. I will finish it up maybe today or tomorrow so that I am better prepared to talk about it. I enjoyed that movie too, even if it's more faithful. All I need to hear. There you go. Raymond sold. So yeah, but I did start it. So far so good. I'm content with everything going on with it. I will finish it up. But the day I was when I started, I was just exhausted. I was like, I gotta go to bed. So happens when you get old, kids. Don't get old. You can't sleep in. You can't stay up as late as you used to. Kind of makes me wonder how I'm going to be at Las Vegas Open. I'll probably be going. It's 8:00. I gotta go back to my hotel to go to bed. Nah, I'm sure I'll be fine. Once I'm around a bunch of other like-minded people in the hobby world, I'll probably find a burst of energy and be just fine. I am looking forward to going to the Las Vegas Open. I'm hoping it to kind of re-energize myself a little bit with the hobby. I don't get to play as much as I'd like, simply because Fridays are really my day to play, and I'm usually all the people I play with do this thing called work on Fridays. And Friday nights, I'm usually, I'm kind of got to be home to take care of the dogs and take care of stuff around the house. So it's hard to be out Friday nights. Plus, that whole thing about getting old, got to get to bed by a certain time. So, anywho, I'm free daytime Fridays. Yeah, Joe, we need to hook up and figure something out to play, man. I know my buddy Jason has been wanting to get some Star Wars Legion on the table. And we played a couple games. Usually play Gaslands with Tim. But yeah, sometimes it just doesn't work out. But I'm hoping going to the Vegas Open, I'll just get re-energized with some excitement. Kill Team, yeah. Comes a point when garage gaming becomes yes, garage gaming. Yeah. Hard to do garage gaming in Arizona come summertime, but right now, garage gaming, Arizona's the place to be. But hoping to get a little bit of that excitement going again, going to Las Vegas Open. Just seeing what's out there, seeing what people are doing. Kind of just find that energy again. It happens with the hobby. I think it happens with all of us. Sorry, now comes the hard part. Got to put on my special glasses. I think at some certain points you just kind of, I don't know, you just kind of your enthusiasm or your excitement kind of fades. It just happens. It's just part of the life. There's no air conditioned garage. Even in surprise, you can get away with it if you know what to do. Yes, I could put an air conditioner in my garage. Could get one of those split units and just drop that in. Actually, a lot of people in surprise have those because you can hear them going off when I walk up to the house to do whatever I'm doing there. Which I've thought about it. And believe it or not, my garage is actually insulated because my house was a model home and the garage was an office. So when they built it as a model home, they insulated it. So I could, oh no, green. I got green on my yellow. There, got rid of it. Even the garage door, yes, you can either put the silver foam board on the garage door, or you can purchase an insulated garage door. I actually have an insulated garage door, which is just a little thicker and it's got some foam inside of it. But anywho, yeah, so I could do that. But there is also the thing about going to the shop and seeing the new shiny stuff on the wall and then Garage Hammer. That means people have to come out to surprise to come hang out with me. That's always a challenge depending on where you live. Painting this guy's face is quite the task of paying attention to detail. That green on that yellow just really helps sell this model. And I love that scale 75 paint. It's just some really nice paint. So what I'll end up doing is I'll get the GW wash, and I'll get a wash on the arms and a little bit on the face. What I want to do is just get a really dark green into the recesses and along the seams and everything, in between the fingers and all that good stuff, and then I'll dry brush over it. It's hard to get a game in at IO on Fridays when you can't be there before. Yeah, that does make it hard. Oh, hey, this crazy guy has come upon us.
Hola.
Hola, Senor Jeff. How are you, sir?
I'm quite wired right now, to tell you the truth.
Did you have a bunch of coffee?
No, actually, I went to my grandson's soccer game, which was excellent.
Yeah.
And then nothing wakes you up more in the morning when you're sitting on a motorcycle and you're at an intersection and you're locked in traffic and you hear screeching tires.
Oh, from behind?
From behind.
Yeah.
And I was in there's an intersection where it's got a left turn, a right turn lane, a straight lane, and then two left turn lanes. I'm in the straight lane, and I'm locked in. I hear the screeching tires. I check my mirrors. The guy behind me's already stopped. So I'm like, right. Okay, if that guy gets rented, there's nowhere I can go. There's a car next to me about halfway up, so I'm about my front tire is his rear bumper.
Right.
And a car came and just slammed into him about 5 feet from me.
Oh.
That'll wake you up in the morning.
That will make you have to change your shorts.
Well, because there was nowhere I could go. And they hit, and the one car that hit him bounced towards me. But it stopped way short. But it was just that whole your body punches up, preparing for this is gonna hurt.
Yeah, this is gonna hurt.
This is gonna be painful. So anyway, that was my morning. How are you? How you doing?
I'm doing good. We were just chatting a little bit about Dune, and
I loved it. I thought it was great.
I'm only an hour into it, so I was complaining about being old, like old guys do.
Right.
And when we started watching it, it was kind of late, kind of getting past my bedtime. So I got about an hour into it, and I was like, all right, I gotta go to bed because I had to work the next day.
I understand that.
You know how that is.
Yeah,
And
absolutely.
then when I was like, well, Andy and I will finish watching it, and she was like, I don't want to watch it. Like it wasn't her thing.
Not her thing. Yeah, I can understand that.
Well, it's not. It's slow. It's a story. It's not a.
It's not a. It's got moments of action in it, but it's not an action film really.
No.
It's more about a long, drawn out story, and so,
It's about the world.
but I'm actually in the middle of the book right now. I've never read it before. I've only seen the actual movies and miniseries that have been done.
Well, to be honest with you, Sting playing in Dune was good though.
It was good. It was, and one of mine and Darren's favorite lines in the original movie was "Fade, lovely fade."
It was just nice to see Sting doing a movie.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely.
But I'll finish watching it. I just visually, it is an amazing movie. Like I was telling everyone, just like if you don't even care about Dune, if it's not your thing, just watch it for the visual aspect. Lenny mentioned that it was kind of like how they built the world in Lord of the Rings for Steve Jackson did with those stories. Like the world really comes to life.
There's a really great on HBO Max. There's a really great extra feature about the soundtrack, about the score.
Yeah.
And because I love the score, I thought the score was massively appropriate to the story they were telling. And there's a really great little 3 or 4 minute featurette that talks about the musical score and what their goals were with it and the whole works. It was actually really, really good.
So they put a lot of thought into it.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, the composer was like, no, this is a unique movie. It's got to have a completely unique soundtrack and score. That way, it's not anything that you'd recognize.
Yeah.
So it was done really, really. I thought the score was phenomenal. So
Raymond's asking, and the book is quiet to read.
It's quite a read.
Okay.
It's a big book, and for a guy like me,
is that okay? I'm like trying to figure out. Okay.
It is a bit of an undertaking.
Yeah.
It's a long book. It's as a friend of mine once described, too many words.
Not enough pictures.
But fortunately for me, I am doing the audiobook. So
you're not really reading the book. It's being read to you.
Yeah, the difference is though, because there is so much stuff going on, I don't listen to it when I got other stuff going on. I will like when I'm on my walk or doing something where there's nothing else to occupy my brain and I can really pay attention to the book. It's only the only time I listen to it. So
Joe's favorite line is, I will kill him.
I will kill him. So yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah. So anyway, so that's the only and then I'm watching a lot of horror movies. So
well, yeah, I'm in the middle of the previous the Halloween just before the new one that's come out. Because I'm a Jamie Lee Curtis fan.
Right.
I'm a Halloween fan, so I'm going to finish that today, and then watch the Peacock's got the new one on stream, so I'll be watching that later today.
Did you find an unabridged version? I'm assuming he means of the audiobook or the for the
it's completely Audible's got an unabridged version.
Okay.
Yeah, Audible's got an unabridged version.
What exactly is that?
What
exactly is an unabridged version?
Unabridged means they don't edit it for audio. They don't shorten it. They don't.
It's the full length book.
It is basically word for word the actual book.
Okay.
Yeah.
I didn't know they did that to audiobooks where they shorten.
They do that to audiobooks and print books. Well, they'll do an abridged version where it cuts out a lot of the extraneous stuff that you don't really need. But yeah, and then audiobooks, they do that a lot as well because a lot of times they'll do an audiobook more like a radio show. Like The Hobbit is a good example of that, where they actually have like 15 guys playing the different parts. So it's an abridged version because they're doing it more like a radio play versus actually an audiobook.
Got it.
So
didn't know. I don't do audiobooks, so that's why I'm not very.
I on certain books I will because there's a lot of times I'm sitting here painting and having an audiobook on is really cool because I can really focus on it. And I'm not a big reader.
No, I tried doing the audiobook thing. It just it's distracting for
I
me.
actually that actually surprises me, that as into podcasts as you are. I thought audiobooks would be right up your alley.
And I just get a little distracted with them because usually with podcasts, people are just rambling. Like, Raymond and Eric are just talking about tournaments, and it's
Right.
not something I really need to focus my attention on. But with an audiobook, I'm like getting wrapped up into the story. And then it's like, oh, now I got to go
You
answer this call service, or I've got to go do this, or like,
you and I are the exact opposite, when it comes to that, because rambling is what makes me crazy.
yeah,
It's like,
because
will you please get to a point?
yeah, see, and I don't mind the rambling because I can just tune out and like if it's something I'm not interested in, I can just tune out and go think about something else.
You remember when you introduced me to that Blood Bowl podcast, and
Yeah.
I called you back and go, they talked for 30 minutes about their meal at the it drove me nuts. It's like, I don't really care that you had a Philly cheesesteak and it wasn't to your liking. I don't care. I want to hear about the Blood Bowl tournament. So
Yeah, and that's where I'm different
yeah.
because I when they start doing that, I'm tuned out to something else,
Well,
and
the
it's
other
just background noise at that point to me.
well, the other reason I have to have something on when I'm painting, and sometimes podcasts are good, for me, is that it occupies my brain, because if I don't, my mind just starts wandering, and then I end up in a place I don't want to be.
Yeah, with YouTube, all I do because I can't because the same thing happens with me with YouTube. Like if I'm watching a YouTube show or channel or whatever on like a game I'm interested in or something like that, I stop painting at my desk. Like I'm just like I'm just watching the video at that point.
Yeah,
So for YouTube, I mainly just put on background music. Like I'll get like this depends on what kind of mood I'm in.
I will put on a movie if it's a movie I've seen many many times.
Yeah, you're not going to put on a new movie.
Yeah, a good one for me is the 13th Warrior, which
Yeah,
is good, because it's a Space Wolf movie with that they edited out all the Space Wolf parts. And any of the Starship Trooper movies, because I've seen them so many times.
yeah.
So I can tell by the sound effects who just got the green goop splattered on their face, and you know,
Well, and the same thing with like Lord of the Rings. I could watch that because all I got to do for Lord of the Rings is look up during the fight scenes and then go right back down to painting.
yep, absolutely.
Because let's face it, all the other stuff is just fodder.
But if there's nothing visual going on,
Yeah,
I'm actually good. Lenny says, he's the same way. And just listen to the radio. I have to have something that. The problem is, even with music, at times my brain will wander to areas it shouldn't go, and I either end up depressed or frustrated by the end of it, because I'll start thinking about real world problems.
yeah. You
And
should stop doing that.
I can't help it. It's in my nature. I know you probably already noticed that about me. I worry a lot.
Yeah, no, I noticed that.
I I have the word my doctor uses is I ruminate.
You ruminate.
I ruminate. Well, the funny part about it is I can sit and think on something. Like, for example, when I was married and still with my wife, and I knew my mother-in-law was coming like 2 weeks before she was supposed to come, Sherry would go, "Hey, my mom's coming to visit." Okay, cool. And then as we got closer and closer and closer to the day she's showing up, I would get angrier and angrier and angrier about it, because I think about it all the time. Like, oh my God, I've got to deal with this woman now. And
Yeah.
and then by the day before, I'm like, "Arr, arr, arr, why is she coming?"
Bye.
So
It's gonna ruin my weekend.
that my whole I start, if I don't be careful and keep my thoughts under control, I can have a embolism. Oh, I did have an embolism. So
Well, yeah.
yeah,
Be
so
careful. I try not to think. It's just I just write. I just get a piece of paper and just start writing, and hopefully that makes me feel better. But sometimes it doesn't.
yeah, I can see that.
But for me, like I can't do the radio. Um, I can do the streaming. Like I can do the like 2 hours of Celtic music or something like that.
Right.
Uh, because then it's just uninterrupted, and I don't like I hate 98 KUPD in the morning. Like John Holmberg and company, like just shut up and play music. I don't care about your sports addiction and all your other BS. Just play some music.
Play something.
And Chaos LX, Mark and Neanderthal, kind of the same way. Like they'll play more music,
right?
But again, it's morning radio. They're supposed to talk. They're supposed to engage. They're supposed to think they're funny.
Most radio DJs, especially morning show DJs, they think they're a lot funnier than they really are at times.
Yeah.
It's like, really? Yeah, okay, that wasn't.
Yeah, you're not that funny. Especially that's like if all you're gonna do is talk about sports, I care less. That's why I didn't like Dave Pratt, who was the Arizona's leading DJ.
I remember Dave Pratt for a long time. Yeah.
He got booed because all people started losing interest in him because all he does is talk about sports.
Yeah.
Yep. It's like we don't want to talk about sports, not all of us. But now gambling is a big thing in Arizona. That's like what everybody wants to talk about.
Actually, that's actually something I've noticed because I this time of year I watch a lot of football, and since they've actually legalized sports betting nationwide,
like
every third commercial during a football game is some kind of legal sports betting gambling site.
Well, let's face it, though, sports was getting kind of boring. Like no one really cared about football, basketball, or any of that stuff as much as they do now.
Oh yeah, it's insane. Well, again, anytime there's money to be made, that's the driving factor, and sports betting is huge. I mean, sports betting's been huge in football forever because even though the NFL says they don't support, they're not about the betting, but why is there an injury report a week before the game? Why is there's so all the bookmakers can get their numbers right. So
any 70s classic or Led Zeppelin station on Amazon Prime are ideal for playing. Yeah.
That sounds good. 70s classic's got to be awesome.
Yeah, 70s classic is because I was born in 70s, so it makes it a great decade.
I was born at some point before the 1970s, so
yeah, you were born before they had calendars.
No, we had calendars. We kept stones, and
we kept stones on the shelf.
we kept in our yard. We had a pile of stones, and every day you go out and remove one, and that would tell you, roughly where you're at.
Gordon Lightfoot, if you're blacklining.
What's the over under on today's show? Well, it was pretty. There was some pretty serious odds of whether or not I'd make it tonight today because
Yeah, he almost got smashed.
Yeah,
the gambling thing to me, it's just like whatever. What do we need to do to screw up this world anymore? Let's let people legally gamble.
Well, speaking as, and I'm fully at grips with the fact that I am an alcoholic.
Sure.
Because I stopped drinking for pleasure, and my drinking became I want to get drunk.
Right.
And that's where I draw the line. But when you have, for example, I struggle with my eating problems because I eat everything all the time. Trying to diet is a nightmare for me. I can't, I have an alcohol issue. God, I'm a mess. How much should you have this conversation?
Well, you say you're an emotional eater, so you eat when you have an emotion.
I'm an emotional eater, and the thing is, you can't turn on a TV without being bombarded with food, alcohol commercials. And if I had a gambling problem, I'd be screwed because I'd be watching football. There's beer commercials, food commercials, and now gambling commercials.
Right.
I'd be a drooling mess by the end of the day.
Exactly.
I gotta go get a burger, a shot of Jack, and place a bet. I gotta do it.
Yeah. I just didn't. I didn't agree with the casinos opening in Arizona. On the reservation, but that was a fight that was lost. I don't know, just not a fan of it. But it's personal preference. If you want to give your money away, I'll give you my address. You can just send me money.
Here's a bet for you. I bet you $100, and you can decide whether or not I'm going to take your money or not if you wanted to send it to me, and you will lose that bet every time.
Yes.
Because yes, I will take your money.
That is the equivalent. But some people really get off on the gambling thing, and
it's like anything. I mean, quite frankly, if I spend probably as much money as your average gambler does, I spend it on toys and models and T-shirts from Pop Goes the Monkey and.
Yes, we have our own addiction. So
we do. I mean,
I should not throw stones in glass houses.
I'm just thankful that on TV they don't have the beer, the food, the gambling, and GW miniature commercials, because then I'd be hospitalized at the end of the day. So
you would definitely have a mini stroke.
Well, my new Blood Bowl star player that I want so bad, Wilhelm, is out today. He's actually available, I think, for pre-order. It's the werewolf that's catching the ball in his mouth. It's a
Yep.
gorgeous model that I will be ordering probably either later today or first thing Monday. So
There you go. Look at you.
so,
No man has enough to play GW games and gamble. That is true. If you're going to play GW games, you probably don't have enough money to gamble.
no man really has enough to play GW games and like support a family, have children, so it can
Nobody
get
that plays GW games has enough
well.
responsibility to do the right thing.
I'm going to have to say miniature games in general, because none of them are economically sound as far as spending money. Because there were some of the, when we were really into conflict, there's some of those gigantic resin kits for those walkers that came out that were pricey.
You mean my Russian walker that was $100, and I was like,
Yeah,
"Oh my god, this thing's $100."
all miniature games are in that. Again, the other problem that we as hobbyists run into is there's nothing about a miniature that you can say I have to have this or I absolutely need this. So because it's a luxury purchase, the price just goes up by 30%.
Yeah.
Anyway, so
But I have to have this.
yeah, that's how it goes pretty much.
Yeah.
I'm wearing my my Battlefront Gale Force 9 t-shirt today. So
I'm not I don't think miniature games are the most expensive hobby. Not these days. Maybe at one point, but these days, like,
take up fishing and you'll find out exactly how expensive a hobby can be.
I think what happens with miniature gaming that makes it so expensive is we have no self-control.
Yeah, well, yeah, that and there's constantly new minis coming out. There's constantly new stuff being introduced.
There's new paint lines. I just bought that. I just got my paint set yesterday.
Oh, the Instacolor.
Yeah.
Well, now let's be fair. You didn't buy that for the paint.
No, it was the most expensive wooden box I bought.
You're the only person I've ever met that has an actual box fetish. Oh, look, a container of some kind. I have to have that.
Hey, at least it's a clean fetish.
Unless you're putting a head in the box or something, But
what's in the box?
But it's actually, I mean, quite frankly, that is a nice box. I'm still trying to figure out what I'm going to put in it.
Yeah, even Andy, I showed it to Andy, and she was just like, "Oh my god!" Like, she referred to it as a cigar box.
Yeah,
I'm like, yeah, but I'm not going to put cigars in it.
Well, if it had more of a, where you could get control when moisture kind of a thing. So
yeah, it's too porous inside.
Yeah.
Oh, they are from I buy paints, models, brushes, spray. I think that last thing on your list caused the expense to triple.
Yeah, especially now that it's legal, because now you're going to get your rear end taxed off.
Yeah. I don't know how that tax is working on that. You know how government works. They like, hey, we're going to raise a lot of taxes off of this. Yeah, but you got to create a whole new department within the government to regulate it and to monitor it, that by the time all the taxes are generated, you just spend it on the new department that has to watch it.
Yeah, pretty much. Well, anything that's bad for you has its own tax rate compared to other things.
Sure.
The old syntax thing. Oh, look.
Ooh, he's enjoying life. Let's tax him.
Let's tax him. Red meat tax.
Well, I know they do in Australia. I think there's a special tax on GW stuff that's a little bit higher because they have like was it like an anti-gun law or something like that? Like anything that represents or promotes violence in some way, shape, or form is taxed differently.
I know. I read about that. I'm not sure the details on it, but you're absolutely correct. I've actually read that Australia has some kind of odd tax of that nature.
Because all I see people do is rail about how much everything costs in Australia.
Yeah.
Like, they're like, oh my god, everything's like 10 times more expensive.
Well, even after our conversation Wednesday night, and I'm saying I don't need any paints, I'm now still going, man, I'd like to try Duncan's paint. I'd like to try that Two Thin Coats paint line just to see. And it's like,
yeah, and I don't know how that's going to hit the market.
Yeah.
Like, is he going to be like in with vendors? Like, is it going to be something that a shop can order, or is it just going to be his own little personal
Yeah.
thing that he's going to do on the side?
Yep.
It's like $40 for a pack of cigarettes. Isn't that how much a pack of cigarettes is in the United States?
Well, I know they're because I occasionally buy a pack of cigarettes because my daughter smokes. They're here in Maryland. A single pack of cigarettes, Newports, is almost $12
Yeah.
for one pack.
It's always fascinated me. They're like, we're gonna tax cigarettes at this ridiculous tax rate so that we can run campaigns for people to stop smoking.
Well, that's why it's called a sin tax. Anything that is that they deem as bad for you gets they think they can tax that higher because well, it's bad for you.
Well, because people are addicted to it, and it's the government that allowed us to get addicted to it in the first place.
Well, the cigarette companies had a hand in that because they withheld a lot of information early on.
But the government was part of it.
I think yeah. There's a lot of individual politicians that actually were actually involved. That's like when my dad passed away from lung cancer. My brother was like, we should sue the tobacco companies. And I'm like, wait a minute. This dad not only smoked 3 packs a day, but he also would paint the equipment without a respirator. You do all this really weird stuff. So it's like, I get that the cigarette companies have a responsibility, but there's also the individual responsibility. It's bad for you. I don't think if you in this country, if you run into someone that says cigarettes are bad for you, what? Either they're living under a rock or they're lying.
Bath salts were good for you too.
Well, and, they're going to bring on the zombie apocalypse.
Look how that turned out. Like LSD used to be legal.
Well, here's the thing that I've always wondered about. Have you ever seen the videos? And it's kind of I'm going to work my way around to my point here in a minute. You'll see the video of the guy that like drives a nail up his nose, or those guys do those weird freaky things.
Yeah.
And then you hear about guys that you now hear about guys that take bath salts. And my question is, what in the world prompted you at some point in your life to go, I'm going to eat bath salts, or I'm going to shove a nail up my nostril? It's like where did that idea come from? Where did it go? Oh, I just want to try that. I want to see what that's like.
People just want attention.
I guess it's just like, really. I don't recall ever going, I'm just going to shove this nail up my nostril and see how far I can get it just because.
I put my finger in a sprocket of a bicycle and cut it off.
You were what? You were what? 6, 2?
No, I was 2.
You were 2, so I will give you the benefit of the doubt on that one.
All right, thanks.
Yeah,
people do well, and again, drugs will make people like. There's people that inject like gasoline, I guess, under their skin because I guess it gives them some sort of relief from not having their drugs.
Wow.
Drug addicts do weird shit, dude.
Wow.
Yeah.
Never heard that one. So
Andy told me about it because they get people in the hospital with it because it's a poison and it kills you.
Yeah.
People just do stupid shit, dude.
They do. Yeah. There is that. People just do really odd things. So.
But it's no different than the people that are anorexic. There's certain mental illnesses, so I'm sure some of that.
It all plays in. It all plays in. So
crazy. Anywho, go ahead. Go.
Say my orc beast boss is coming along quite nicely. I don't get a chance to work on it very much, but we're getting there. We're getting there slowly but surely.
Slow and steady.
So steady. I'm still awed by your Stampa.
Oh, thank you.
That's an amazing looking model. I thought it was awesome.
Can't wait to figure out where I'm going to put it. Right now, it just sits over there and stares at me.
Well, I believe Darren left for. He either left this morning, or I think it was this morning he pulled out, heading back. So hopefully he'll be with us on Wednesday.
Sweet.
So, yeah. He was going to leave on Thursday or Friday, but then discovered his neighbor was getting ready to do something in their yard, and they were going to have to pull a truck they're going to have to tear down the fence between Darren's property and their property, and then pull a truck into the guy's backyard. Which there's only like a foot clearance between the two houses when you pull a truck through there.
Right.
But Darren's like, I may want to stay till that's sorted out.
Well, didn't he just put that fence up?
Well, yeah, him and his neighbor. Well, I think they're getting ready to put up a new fence.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
I
and
know he did some fence repair.
yeah, but Darren's kind of like, I think I want to be here because nothing would be more stressful than me driving to Phoenix and then get a call from my neighbor. Oh, by the way, we backed into your house while you were gone. So,
well, he would probably get an alarm.
Yeah, that's true too. Yeah,
absolutely.
Absolutely. Oh.
Joe survived the wasp apocalypse at the house.
Awesome.
There was some wasp in a bush. Turns out they had 4 wasp nests in total.
Wow.
Yeah, there was 3 in the bush. It's a big olive tree bush. I used to have this big olive tree in the front yard, and I cut the tree down, and I just left the stump, and then the stump grew bush, basically. Just started growing out of the stump and made a bush. And they've been taking really great care of it. I guess the landscaper couldn't trim it anymore because he said there was wasp in it, and it turns out there was 4 wasp nests.
Yeah, there's one of the buildings next to mine has a wasp nest up in the eave that's about the size of a basketball.
Oh boy, they haven't taken it down yet?
Yeah, I haven't. Well, we're in the time now of the year because it's cold enough. They're not active, but I don't think anybody noticed it because it's up. You have to really be in the right spot to find it because it's up in the eave.
Gotcha.
So I've let maintenance know it's there. So hopefully and it's not my building, so it doesn't matter to me. But the other problem with having a wasp nest in the eave like that is they will eventually find a way through that wall.
Yep.
and take their hive into the actual structure.
Yeah,
that's when it gets really, really bad. Really nasty.
All right, so I've decided I'm going to do checkering on one of these flared fenders.
Oh, that'll be cool.
So we're gonna do it the old-fashioned way with a pencil, but I don't think I want to go. Looks like it's 2 different things. So I'm assuming. Let me show you. Maybe you can.
Go right ahead. You want to go full screen?
No, just right there.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, now that I can see that on that strap back there is supposed to go all the way across. So this is all the fender. Then that back part is a strap. So
right. Yep.
Yeah, I could see that seam line going down here, and I'm like, is that 2 different? Nope, I just didn't get a seam line.
Yep, absolutely.
That's all it is. No seam line. So I do I have my mechanical pencil? Here we go. So we're just gonna sketch this out by hand with a mechanical pen. I just got to figure out. I think 3 lines will be fine.
So yeah, probably good. We have they started something new here with Trick or Treat, which I found kind of interesting.
What's that?
They have started a thing at the schools called Trunk or Treat.
Trunk or treat.
Yeah, so instead of the kids walking around neighborhoods, they actually they get a parking lot at like the school or some kind of public parking area.
Oh, yeah.
People pull their cars in, open their trunks, and that way the kids can just walk through a single parking lot and do their trick or treating that way, which I thought was kind of interesting. That it does seem kind of a way to kind of keep a little more control over what's going on and where the kids are at, especially when they're younger kids, because they just so I got to tell you that contrast paint over the blue that I put on this top knot here really came out nice. Now I'm just going through and adding some highlights to it. Ow. Caught my visor on my light and dug one of my nose pieces into my corner of my eye.
Ow. All right. So, good morning, David.
David.
So here's the lines drawn out.
Oh yeah, perfect.
So a little bit more uniform than I did on my Stompa, but that's okay. These guys knew what they were doing. It's just a fender.
Every once in a while, you find a talented orc.
Every once in a while, you find a I don't know any famous artists. Picasso in a orc patch.
Orcasso.
Orcasso. So we were talking earlier. This is going to be part of a biker gang. So this is, as Raymond put it, I got an orc on a choppa with the choppa.
All right,
and then we were trying to come up with like biker gang names.
Mm-hmm.
And I think Joe's, I forget which one. Let me go back up in the comments here because it was actually a really cute name. Of course, now that I want to find it, I can't find it. You know what that is. Like the Green Wah or something like that.
Yeah.
Oh, the Choppewa.
Choppewa.
The Choppewa.
That sounds like a Native American tribe.
It kind of does have that vibe to it, huh?
We're members of the Choppewa tribe.
We are.
Of course, the Chippewa.
So I think so. This will be the leader of my biker gang, and then I'll just do like a unit of like 5 bikes, and then just have like this biker gang. I might have to get them. I don't know if I might need to go black for their shirts though, just to kind of represent leather.
You need one of those orc bikes from Pop Goes a Monkey.
Oh yeah. You think that would be very fitting for it?
No, well, I sent you the pic. Do you like them?
Oh yeah, that would work. But then I got all my regular orc bikes. So we will make this happen.
Having one like the one from Pop Goes a Monkey that's just a little different kind of adds to it. Like it just kind of takes away from, because you start getting up to 3 and 4 bikes and they're all kind of the same.
I was laughing at the idea of taking a random making working examples include Mad Max, Road Warriors, The Hunt for Red October. All of those are funny.
Yeah,
I like the Mad Max, but I would do that with my mech army, like maybe my Stompa,
yeah,
and a bunch of Killicans and Grot tanks.
There you go.
Make them the Mad Max, and then I'll get a mad the Mad Doctor in it. So for doing my hex pattern or my checker pattern, just doing the paint's just really thin, just so that it doesn't. First of all, in case I mess up, I can wipe it off.
Yippee.
And just nice thin coats.
Sure thing.
And a lot of concentration.
Which is,
I don't have to be perfect. Like,
no, absolutely not, because they're, they're orky.
But there is something mentally about it that you just go, that line's just not quite straight. Like I just messed up totally. But that's why I start with the white.
Absolutely.
Because the black, I can fix everything.
Well, I've only got, I think, 2 more soccer games.
Yeah.
So then my soccer season is over. Unless Josh is talking about maybe putting him into the indoor league as well. So I'll find out what that schedule's like. But
is that like an all year round league then, I'm assuming, since it's indoor?
It just kind of runs through the winter months up here.
Yeah.
So
I would assume it probably gets a little chilly.
Well, it was this morning when I left to head to the game. It was 49 degrees out, and I rode my motorcycle. So that was kind of fun.
Oh, Joe's asking about pictures. Did we do pictures?
I did not do any picks today.
Sorry, Joe, we let you down. We are failures at that.
I could give a rat's ass. I will. I did not get a chance to get to them yesterday or today. Sorry about that.
Somebody was busy doing the life thing.
It just makes more pictures for Wednesday.
There you go. Tune in for Wednesday. Boy, I think I had a little bit too much caffeine this morning. It's a picture-free day, yes.
It's not like they're going anywhere. We'll get them on Wednesday. I just didn't have a chance yesterday to go through them, and this morning I was just. It would have taken me. I got here right around 25 after 10, and wanted to jump on, so I had more time.
Oh, you're 3 hours. I forgot. I thought you were 2 hours ahead.
No, now I will be after November 7th, so it'll be a little different. November 7th, I go to being 2 hours.
Yeah.
So that'll make things.
I got my time zones mixed up for a second.
Makes a little earlier in both the night in the Wednesday show and the Saturday show. So the Wednesday show will be better because I won't be getting done at 11:30. I'll be getting done at 10:30. So
you won't be staying up as late.
Yeah.
Painting checkers. I'll forgive you this time. Well, thanks, Joe. Thanks for a forgiving person.
Well, wait a minute here. I'm looking. Nope, no guilt. We'll make sure I didn't have it. I just didn't get a chance to get to it.
It happens. I just don't have a second monitor, so I can't even do it.
Zoom in a bit here. There's the highlights in the hair that I've been putting in. I don't know if you can see them very well or not on this.
No, you can see them. Very nice.
Yeah, there's some highlights in the top knot.
The top knot.
I'm going to try to spend a little more time today. Last week I quit and went right back to my commission work, so
I've got. That does pay the bills.
Yeah, sometimes. Here's one of the ones I just finished up. Zoom out a bit.
Zoom out a little bit. Custodes.
Yep.
Very nice. Is those for Todd?
These are for Todd. Yeah.
Yeah.
So this is the custodes. I went with a different base than the flying stand. I put them on the oval base just to give them a little more stability. But there's the.
I like it.
And these are the shadow warrior.
You did the purple in the metallic in the silver.
Did you see that?
Yeah. That's a brilliant thing to do.
Isn't it really? I know a guy that does that.
I know. You know a guy?
I know a guy.
Yeah. Arizona likes to change time zones since we don't. Yeah. I
didn't realize how many actual individual time zones Arizona has. There's something like, because some of the reservations actually address daylight saving time, some of them don't. So there's many just inside the state of Arizona. There's some time changes that are weird. So.
Yeah, I just don't care.
My phone's going crazy. Got a
idea of time zones was for just like anything. It was for a different time.
Yeah.
In life. Now we're a 24-hour a day.
You know who originally did the time zones in the States, right? Who started that whole process?
It was someone famous, like
the railroads.
The what?
The railroads.
Oh, I thought it was like
they were traveling cross country. They needed a system because if they just went by the standard time everybody used, they would have a really weird schedule. So they would be arriving at what would be, if they left, if they were arriving on the West Coast at 6 p.m. That was 6 p.m. on the East Coast, it would be a lot different time of day on the West Coast. So the railroads actually set the time zones across the country so they could actually be arriving at local times and be able to predict what that would be. Because
wasn't there a president that had to put it into? I thought
it started with the railroads.
Okay.
They used themselves, and then the government picked it up from there. And
okay, that's it.
I don't know which administration was involved in that, but it was because basically at that time it was just basically, where's the sun at? Okay, it's noon here. Where
Right.
where a train coming from the East Coast, it would have be leaving a certain time. So the railroads implemented time zones for their own scheduling purposes, and then from there the government picked it up, and then it went off.
Yeah.
So
Also, farmers like the time zone thing,
mm-hmm.
or they like the daylight savings thing because they have to get up at the crackbut of dawn to go farm.
Daylight savings is a completely different kettle of fish.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that one I still, there's some, I know that I remember the state of Indiana also, like Arizona, does not practice daylight savings time. So
No, we don't give a shit.
there were times that because my dad, most of his construction subcontracting came out of Fort Wayne, Indiana, and so there were times that they were the same time zone we were. Then there was other times of the year that they were an hour behind us, or an hour behind us.
Yeah. I don't remember right at the Navajos, but if I remember right, the Navajos.
Yeah, Darren and I had Darren actually is the guy that actually knows where the time zones are and how they function within the state of Arizona. But there's several different areas of Arizona that operate at a different time zone than the overall state.
Yeah.
So
could care less. Like, I'm just like, I'm not going to go up there anyway. So
it's just one of those weird little things that you find out, little factoids. You go, oh wow, that's kind of cool.
Factoids. We love factoids.
Yeah, they have their place.
Mm.
I was sitting earlier talking about how I can't handle when I watch a podcast and it just rambles, but yet that's pretty much all you and I do the entire hour and a half we're on.
Well, why would I want to point that out?
Huh?
Why would I want to point that?
I point that out. We just kind of ramble from topic to topic.
We do.
However, the show name on Saturdays tells you exactly what's about. It's what's to do with Mike and Jeff. Well, we exemplify that every show because we just kind of go from topic to topic.
Yes. And we sometimes paint. Like Wednesday, all we did was talk. Like, would we paint for like 5 minutes?
Yeah, we kind of got to talking. Hey, maybe we should paint for a little bit.
All right, I got a little sloppy with my checkers on the white.
Yeah, it was a black one.
But I'm okay with it because that's what the black will come in and clean it up. But they're a little out of whack, which is what you want. So, see, ever since we invented the iPhone, I don't need to worry about keeping track of time zone. My phone just changes for me and goes, here's what time it is where you're at.
Yep.
I don't need to think. My iPhone has made me not have to think.
Well, I used to, when I was a kid, I could remember people's phone numbers. Now I can't. I if I lost my phone, I would not know how to get a hold of kids or anybody else.
Yeah, the only phone number I remember is my own, simply because I have to give that out on a regular basis.
Yep.
But like my work cell phone, I don't know that number. And I have to actually look it up when someone goes, what's your number? Because most people get my phone number through phone, ID.
Right.
They're like, oh, I'll call you back. But then every once in a while, I actually call someone on what's known as a landline. I don't know if you've ever heard of these things. Like, people have these phones in their home, and they're like, what's your phone number? I'm like, oh.
Landlines and rotary dial phones. There you go.
Well, I don't know if they're on rotary, but there's a good possibility they are. So every once in a while, I have to actually work up.
Thing, though, I still remember my mom and dad's phone number from when I was in high school.
Really?
Because we had that number my entire life up until I moved out. That was my phone number, and it's still stuck in my head. So,
did you ever call it?
I have actually considered it a couple of times, but I know I never have.
I'm just calling this number. Why? Because it's my old phone number from a kid.
Let's see if it had been reused yet. So now the thing with cell phones and smartphones, you keep your number forever. You can just, you don't have, when you buy a new phone or change services, you can just transfer that number over.
Yep.
So you never have to worry about actually, changing phones. I really need to change my paint water.
Paint water. Is that like a drink?
My brush water, I should say. I'm drinking out my Bobo Gilliman mug today.
Oh, mine's in the sink. I forgot.
Well, I have my October mug, and I have my Bobo Gillyman mug, and I may order a Coco Cruz mug as well.
You are a crazy man, you.
I have weird collect. Well, the thing is, you know me, I've got to be. I'm a completist. I got to have it all. And when I started seeing these T-shirts, I go, I got to have every one of them. So eventually, my entire wardrobe will be Pop Goes the Monkey wardrobe.
You will be their model.
Well, I don't think anybody wants me to be their model. Here's what it looks like when a fat guy wears it.
Well,
I've hit 30 pounds on my diet, and I've kind of hit a stumbling block because of all the, which you know, a little bit of the drama we were dealing with recently. So
emotional.
I've been having a hard time keeping to my diet. Now I haven't gone crazy. I haven't like put on a ton of weight, but my weight loss has been curtailed.
Yeah.
So I hit 30 pounds, and I'm kind of stuck there. So, and I don't visually notice that I've lost 30 pounds really, but
Right.
when my clothes are telling me that that's one of the indicators I have is, oh, look, that fits a little better.
Yeah, I had to buy. I'm buying new work pants, which sucks because work pants are $70 a pop.
You look really thin when I was out there. Well, a lot thinner because I don't really get, you really can't tell from the when we're streaming and stuff. But
Yeah, you only see part of me.
yeah,
Yeah, I lost a few lbs.
well, I'm hoping to get the weight loss back on track. I'd like to be at around 50, 60 pounds when I come back out in March.
You can do it.
Oh, I'm sure I can. It's just a matter of just discipline and not giving in to my, I'm having an emotion. I must celebrate with food.
Yeah, dieting's easy. Just watch what you put in your mouth. That's the hardest part of dieting is don't put it in your mouth.
I mean, you know what? One of my, I mean, as we've talked about, I'm an emotional eater. But the other thing is if I'm bored,
Yeah.
I'll just go. Yeah, I think I'll sit here and stare at the television for 3 hours and eat a bag of chips.
Yeah, my weakness is the same thing. I get bored and I'll go rummaging, and Andy will just catch me. She'll be like, "You bored?" I'm like, "No, why? You're in the kitchen."
Well, that's the other thing for me is one of the things that's really I would probably have lost just 5 to 10 pounds without dieting if I just tracking what I'm eating. That helps tremendously because
Yeah,
logging your meals for calories really helps you be aware of just how much food you consume in a day.
yeah, and also logging your calories just lets you know how bad food is for you if
Oh
you're
yeah,
not careful.
yeah, absolutely. So
I think that's where a lot of people get fooled. Is labeling is misleading,
it is.
and it's designed, and the government allows it to happen. Sorry, I'm not on an anti-government mood, but they do allow this to happen.
Reality is reality. There's
Right.
a lot of things that happen based on the fact that corporations are given certain breaks and I
Yeah,
mean if you ever actually read the regulations for a food manufacturer on just how much bug and rat excrement can be included in your food, it'll scare the crap out of you. And never
well,
ever ever research how hot dogs are made.
my favorite food too.
I love hot dogs. But
Love
yeah,
me some hot dogs.
I had a momentary of do I want to eat these things? Because after I found out how they were actually produced, it was like, whoa.
Really check out the Remington James Fitness if you don't mind cooking. You can do pizza, fried rice, sliders, and they
Yeah,
are
yeah.
all diet friendly, but you really have to like to cook.
I have most of those recipes, Lenny. The problem is just getting the time to cook. So,
Yeah.
but I have found because I'm a microwave meal guy because I like to cook, but I don't like to do it for every meal. And I found a lot of really good the cafe steamers um, from Healthy Choice are really good meals, and they taste really good. They're nice portion controlled, and they're really really good, especially for the weight the eating plan I'm on because Noom is very much it's not really a diet because I haven't really changed what I eat as far as the things I eat. I'm just better and more knowledgeable about what that if I eat potato chips, I now know exactly how that fits into my diet and what causes me to. So instead of eating a bag of chips, I'll have so many. I'll curb how many I have.
You'll have a serving of chips.
Absolutely, instead
Yeah.
of the entire freaking bag or pizza. I'm one of my favorite pizzas is Donato's pizza, which you can get frozen now. I know that instead of eating 4 slices from the pizza, which is half of it, I eat 2. Um,
Right.
that's kind of where my food plan right now is teaching me is how to eat and how much to eat and not to go
Bonkers.
crazy.
Yeah. For me, the big help was just tracking my calories, but
Yeah,
not tracking it just for the day, but visually seeing. So I write everything down, and I have like a planner that I put it in, and I got a graph that shows me how many times I'm going off track, and
yep. I
so I
have a
can just visually see it.
I have a phone app that does that same thing. Every day I log what I'm eating. The other nice thing is the phone app gives me a barcode scanner that I can
Yep.
scan in the grocery, and it tells me where it fits into my plan and how
Yeah.
much of it I can eat without whether it's a red, yellow, or green item. Um, so it's really helpful. So
Yeah, because
now,
if you visually see it, because that's what happens. Like we do the Fitness Pal or something like that, and you see it for the day, but you don't see your overall arcing for the week or the month or the
yep,
year.
yep,
And that's a big help because it's okay to have bad days. Like I'm going to have a cheat day today. I'm going to eat a 1 pound prime ribeye steak today.
ooh, nice.
That is going to kill my calorie count for the day. But
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
okay to have a bad day now and again. As long as you're not having 5 of them in a row, you're okay.
Well, keeping track of it, you now know where prior to that, you probably wouldn't have realized just how that impacts your overall diet for not just that day, but for the week.
Yeah.
You know exactly what's going on. And again, logging my meals has helped tremendously in the fact that now when I sit down, I'll go, oh, wait a minute, how many? This is okay. This is really going to impact me in a lot of different ways between the sugar and the fat,
Yep.
caffeine. I now have a much better idea of how I'm impacting my meals for the day.
And that's what's important.
Well, the other thing is if I'm going to go out and have something that I know like today, you're going to go have that steak. You can also control what you consume at your other meals.
Right.
So, okay, wait, I'm going to have a big meal today. Like when I would go over to my daughter's for her birthday celebration. Okay, I know there's going to be cake, and there's going to be a snack tray and that kind of stuff. So I'm going to curb what I eat until I get there, so I can have those extra calories
Yep.
to be a little bit more normal at the get together.
And that's what it's all about. That's
Well,
that's how you do it.
as GI Joe says, knowing is half the battle.
Well, it's just I don't know what it is about food today, but calories is just everything in the calorie counts on food is just off the
There,
chart.
there's a really great portions in the United States are out of control.
Yeah.
And I know that from traveling as much as I have, that when you travel overseas and you order like chicken parm, the portion is like a quarter the size of a chicken parm in the States.
Yeah.
But the other thing is the food industry. When in the 70s, when America went, hey, we're gaining weight, so everybody goes on these diet crazes. The actual food manufacturers went forth and did some studies that weren't really studies, and they started basically changing the fat content of food,
Yeah.
which they start ordering food which didn't taste as good as the stuff they were selling before. So they jacked up the sugar content to make it taste better, and it didn't really do anything. So people will buy diet food that's really not any better for you than the stuff you're eating before. It's called fat free and it's called this and
Yeah. And they still do that today.
it absolutely do. It's like, oh wait, we're going to lose market share.
I like these. I get these Lenny cookies,
Yeah,
and they're supposed to be like protein cookies, and they're supposed to be like you would think they're really good for you.
right.
Yeah, if you eat the whole damn thing, it's like 410 calories.
Yeah, it's insane.
Yeah, and
But
but you're buying it from the health food store, and
Yep.
Lenny and Larry cookies are kick ass. They do, but you have to be careful because they're calorie driven. So if you're really working out or you have that room to eat them, you can. But and I like taking them with me to conventions because they're a great breakfast substitute or snack substitute during the day. But yeah, you have to be careful because some of that stuff.
Well, the other thing you got to be careful of is something like that. There's food out there that are considered diet and healthy, but they're also geared more towards building muscle.
Yeah.
And well, those actually have a higher protein content. There's other things that give you a little more energy that are great for what you're doing. But if you're like me, I'm right now, I'm not interested as much as in the exercise and muscle building part. I just want to get my weight under control.
Right.
You got to be careful because some of those they will destroy my calorie count for the day.
Granola bars, the worst.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
So there's my checkering. This is like first coat checkering. So now my ADD is going to kick in, and now I have to straighten up all the lines, clean everything up.
Quite frankly, I mean, I see a couple places that I would fix, but I think it looks great.
No, it's okay. I'm not going to be I don't want it to be perfect, but there's just a few where some of the black bled over into the white and stuff like that. But that's what I'm looking at, guys.
There's me, Orc Beast Boss, that I've only got like a week or so left to get done. So
you're doing fine, dude. I'm loving that scale on the back. The
armor pattern,
yeah. Looks like he killed a couple lizard men, stitched it all together.
Yep. So I just got to I got to go through and get the I'm doing the bone area now, which I really I don't understand the colors from my camera because that looks kind of a yellowish, kind of a desert yellow kind of a color.
Yeah, it does.
It's actually a Morghast bone, which is a dark tan.
Well, it's probably just the camera's picking up with your.
And I've just washed it in a Earthgrax. What is it? Earthgrax. Agrax Earthshade. There you go.
Yeah, all right, I'm gonna switch cameras, buddy.
Yep, I'm switching as well.
Oh, I love the squig on the Beast Boss.
Yeah, he's got a squig that's got one gigantic eye with a targeting thing on it.
I don't have that model, believe it or not.
Well, you may have it after I finish painting it.
Well, I know. Is that the new? That's the new Orc model.
Yeah, that's the new one.
Yeah. I haven't. I think Darren's got me the. There he is.
See that guy right there?
Yeah.
There's a squig on his shoulder that has one big eye with a reticle crosshatch on it.
Because I know Darren's got a box set for me when he comes back to town.
Yep.
So I'm looking forward to getting that so I can crack open that codex. I'm a little excited about orcs again. I know most of the new stuff that's out is all about the new squig riders and all that kind of stuff, the beast nagas. That's not in the beast. No, I didn't think that was in the beast naga box, but I might just once I get that again and I start looking at the codex and diving into it, maybe that'll get me spurred to go buy some more stuff.
Well, here's going when I finish this beast box, this is going to be the thought process. Do I put it on eBay? Do I send it to Mike? and that'll be my wrestling match. It's really going to come down to a coin flip.
I would recommend sending it to Mike is probably the better of those two options. I think he'll have more reward for you.
It will make me feel better here. Where if I sell it on eBay, it'll make me feel beber here where my wallet's at.
So you care about your ass feeling good than your heart.
No. I'm just letting you know the two areas of my body that might actually get out. The other thing is I know if I send it to you, it will go to a good home. So
it will end up is on my display shelf of miniatures painted by other people for me.
Right.
I
have one of those too.
Yeah. So I got like a little shelf. I've got my I've got a couple from you. I've got the Custodes 30K model you painted for me,
Ah, what Valdor?
Valdor, and I also have a Necron model you painted for me, or repainted, or redid that you picked up from somebody else. One of
Yeah,
the
one of the I think it's the big guy with the flowing black
yeah. And then I also have that old armor cast,
giant.
great unclean one. I think is what
Yeah,
it was.
that weird looking thing.
So, and then I also have a couple people. A wizard with a brush painted a model for me, and I also won a painting competition or a contest and had a model painted by a guy, and I gave him one of my Custode dreads,
Right.
the big dread with the sword, and he painted that up real nice. And that's about it. I think that's.
I'm doing a Land Raider with these other custodes that I'm working on as well right now. I ordered the Forge World Custodes decal sheet.
Oh,
So there's some interesting decals on that sheet. So
I have that sheet.
Yeah, it's a nice sheet.
Well, because I got it because I've got a couple of the tanks, and they've got that scroll work, that gold scroll work that would look good on the sides of the flat surfaces.
I'm hoping that the I don't know if the new White Dwarf has come out with the wolf spears on it in it or not. But I kind of want to get a few of those wolf spear decal sheets. So
I don't know which White Dwarf is it. Is it the one that's back ordered?
I think it's the one coming out in October, but I think it got delayed.
Yeah, is that the delayed one?
I think so because I've asked IOG to hold 3 of them for me because I want the decal sheets because you know me, I hoard decals. And I'm glad I did.
Be able to go on eBay or whatever right after it comes out and probably get like 1,000 of them.
Well, there was
haven't seen it at any of the stores, so Raymond hasn't seen it locally.
Yeah, I've got 2 reserved at the local shop here, and I got 3 coming hopefully from IOG. I got to make sure that Cody put that in for me. Joe, if you get a chance, even though I forgot pictures today, but if you could do me a favor and check on that for me to make sure I got 3 of them on SO. But the decal sheet that Raymond wanted from me, I didn't send it to him because I wanted to hoard it. And I ended up getting a squad of Marines that I'm doing under that chapter. And so that's why I kept the decal sheet. I'm going to be using it on the.
Oops. This is my favorite decal sheet. It's a chaos one, but
yeah, I have about a dozen of those.
Yeah, this is my favorite decal sheet.
Yeah,
it's just got a lot of cool symbols on. You know, like Gaslands and other game systems. I can use this for just evil decals.
Yeah.
I stepped away. 3 of what?
The next White Dwarf that's got the Wolf Spear decal sheet in it, Joe. I asked Cody to put 3 on SO for me, so I get that decal sheet. And if you could just confirm that they're actually in there.
I got Pop Goes the Monkey add-ons for the Tomb Keepers. Oh, sweet.
Yeah. There's some really cool stuff.
Everyone's going nuts for Pop Goes the Monkey.
Well, I just ordered the little chapter emblems that you actually adhere to the shoulder pad.
Yes.
They just did some for Terminators because Terminators their chapter emblems on the opposite shoulder.
Right.
And they just did some for the Terminator shoulder pad, so I just ordered those. And there's some really great stuff that they have. It's actually and their system is great. Their shipping time is really, really cool, and they make great T-shirts.
I'm kind of like, is Pop Go the Monkey subbing their printing out to other people, or are they doing it all themselves?
It's all done through Shapeways.
Okay, so in Shapeway, I think subs out to other people.
Yeah, so because basically I'll order something from them, and they actually tell you that once you hit place that order, because of the way they do business, I can't contact them and make any changes or cancel it in the process. But some of the, if I order T-shirts, they come from like North Carolina, and then I've ordered 3 different things that were 3D printed that came from different areas of the country.
Yeah, I thought that Shapeway has that network of people printing for them, and obviously they're getting a cut of the pie, and there's a whole.
I don't think I have placed an order with them with anything that's taken more than 10 to 12 days to get to me. It's really, yeah, it's really good.
But their shirts are probably just coming from one random shirt vendor.
Every shirt I've ordered for them that comes from North Carolina.
Yeah, it's probably just one print shop that's doing it.
They're really good quality shirts. They're really good quality work. Like I said, I've got 5 of them now. The only reason I have 5 because there's only 4 available, but I've got 5 because I ordered the wrong shirt for Volcom. I ordered because they had the one that's got the Chimperium symbol on the front, and then the actual artwork on the back. I mistakenly ordered one that has the artwork on the front and the Chimperium's on the shoulder. So I have an extra one of Volcom. So
well, that just makes
half a dozen of the one they do for Russ.
Oh yeah. Well, you'll have to get them for future. Like you'll have to plan. All right, so this shirt's going to last me roughly. Most T-shirts, depending on how often you wear them and wash them and all that, last roughly about a year, maybe 2 years.
Right.
If just from normal wear and tear, like you wear it maybe twice a month and it gets washed.
Yeah.
So you need to buy enough to plan out the next 10 years. So you're probably going to have 5 of them, so that like you can keep.
Well, unless you're anal like I am, first of all, I wash them inside out, which actually helps on the imagery. I only wear them. I do not wear them every day. I only wear them either for the show or when I'm going to an event that's related to 40K. Other than that, I don't wear them. They hang in my closet.
You don't wear them out to like restaurants and to dinner?
No. Now, I might. Now, if I had people I would hang out with that were gamers, I might wear them then. But I don't do other than this right here. And when I go to like Battlefront for the Blood Bowl League, I don't interact with a lot of gamers outside. It's usually just family, 90% of the time, or my crazy upstairs neighbors. So.
No, I wear all my crazy stuff. I don't care.
Yeah, I know. Well, yeah, I'm a little more anal.
People see my crazy. I don't care.
Well, the other thing is I also know if I wear them every day, like my for the All Father shirts, I wear those all the time, and I'm now starting to see the images fading.
Yeah,
the black's gone to more of a gray.
That happens. Wash machines are brutal.
Yep.
They suck all the color out of everything. So, anywho, that's enough of our laundry tips for today.
Again, what's new with Mike and Jeff? We're talking laundry today.
This
is my Battlefront Gale Force 9 shirt.
Oh, look at that. What's it say? I see the Gale Force 9. What's the other one? Does that say Battlefront?
That's the actual Battlefront logo.
Oh, is that red and black shield?
It's red and black shield with Battlefront on it.
And what's on the back?
Nothing.
Oh, perfect.
Yeah. So it's just a very nice. I've got 2 of these now, so it's like yay. So I'll wear this quite a bit. So
yeah, look at you.
The one
I do have 2 shirts. I don't wear that often. I do wear them every once in a while because the only way to get the shirt is to buy a new bass guitar, and it's and I just can't bring myself to buy any more guitars right now. So I saved the 2 shirts that I have. It's from there's a bass guitar store. There is specifically a store that only sells bass guitars in Arizona, literally down the street from my house at 99th Avenue in Peoria.
Right.
And when you buy a new bass guitar from you, they give you a shirt.
That's awesome.
And yeah, no guitars. They don't sell cheap guitars.
No, I bet. Well, yeah. Even a cheap guitar is probably out of my price range.
Yeah, but they ain't gonna give you a shirt for no Fender Squire guitar.
I have one piece of apparel that I only wear when I know it's going to get a reaction. It's my Games Workshop 5-year Letterman's jacket.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't wear that every day. Only time I wear that if I'm going to a GW event, I'll wear that because then people
just to make people pay attention.
Yep. And you can't just buy those off the shelf.
So maybe if you end up at the Adepticon, I don't know how far Chicago, like that's probably for you the same as for me. It's probably a trip.
Chicago is a day trip. I can make Chicago in a day.
Yeah. So maybe if you go to Adepticon.
Yeah, I'm hoping I probably can't. Well, of course they've probably sold out this year already. Have they started? Has Adepticon even started selling tickets?
I don't think they've even started selling, and even if they do, they never sell out.
I may check that out then because I actually may make the trip to Adepticon this year. So
Oh, who is that? That's exactly. What is that factor?
Yeah, it's
Or
not
who
so
is
much
that
who is
factor?
that, it's about what is that? Where'd you get that?
No,
And
I think it's who is that guy and why does he have a Letterman jacket from Games Work? I
it's
was
like,
gonna borrow that from you one year, wasn't I? And I was
yeah,
gonna wear that to like LVO or Defticon or something like that. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Just
it's got my name on the front, and then it has pins in it because the other thing they give you, or they did, I don't know if they still do it or not, but you would get pins, little gold stars for every year of service, and then when you hit 5 years, you'd get a 5 year pin, and so that's all here as well. So it's like, but it's also I'm almost 60 years old, so Letterman's jackets aren't really what guys my age wear, but I wear that just for the shock and awe value of
yes,
like, ooh, and it's got the nice leather sleeves, and
very fitting for
it's a nice
very
jacket.
fitting to wear to an event like that. Well, again, a lot of the GW employees wouldn't even know they would just be like, that's cool. Where'd you get that? Like they wouldn't even know. They probably don't do that stuff.
My biggest financial windfall on eBay was when I left GW. I waited for a year, and then I basically sold all but two of my GW polos,
Oh yeah.
and I had about 30. And each one of because you could order we paid for them ourselves,
Right.
and we could order any GW artwork on the breast that we wanted. And of course, I got a bunch with the Space Wolf logo, but I got like the Inquisition. I got Black Templars, Blood Angels. Depending on what symbol was there, I averaged $75 a shirt.
Oh yeah.
And some of my really like the Inquisition one and everything else, I think the most I got was 125 for my Inquisition polo.
Yeah.
And it's
Now
like,
everyone wears this. They just have the boring blue polo says Games Workshop, like what they
yeah,
wear at the stores.
yeah,
I don't
yeah.
think they do anything fun
The,
anymore.
the, the amazing part was the amount of money people were paying for polos, and they were used polos. I wore them every day, and they were. I mean, I had some that were faded. I had one that had a hole. Didn't matter, but I averaged $70 a polo.
I go to Zia Records and they have like old concert tees hanging up on the walls, like original concert tees, and they're selling for $80 a pop. And
Yeah, I
I'm
sold
like,
get my games day tees, and got decent money for them as well.
yeah, I'm like, I asked the guy, I'm like, what's with the old concert tees? And he's like, people just want to buy the original stuff. I'm like, because you can buy concert tees all day long, repops and things like that, but people just want the original. And I get it. I'm the same way with certain things. I want the original.
If they came with
First
dice in the
edition.
pocket, you'd be all over it.
What's that?
If you had a shirt that came with dice in the pocket, you'd be all over it.
Yeah. Well, if I could find an original Motorhead concert tee, I'd probably buy it, but I wouldn't pay $80 for it though. I'd be like,
Sturgis t-shirts do the same thing.
do they?
I've got a couple old Sturgis. I got a Sturgis riding vest and a Sturgis tee, and I'm literally every time I wear it somewhere because it's from like the '80s.
Yeah.
Somebody offers me money for it.
Yeah.
Like,
It's just like,
yeah, no.
well, we're addicted. Like we're just addicted to what we like. Our nostalgia. You can't put a price tag on my nostalgia.
Yeah. Well, I can't wear those t-shirts anymore because I'm a little wider than I used to be.
Raymond still has the original concert tee from when Ozzy and Rob Zombie came to town back in 07. Yeah, and I bet you that's worth some money. Like I can guarantee you there's an Ozzy fan or a Zombie fan out there that would just be, they'd pay $50, $60 for that shirt and not even think twice if it's the original.
Absolutely.
And some of now concert shirts, not all of them are repopped.
Right.
Like some are, some aren't, but but when you start finding some of those, like if I had my old Metallica concert shirt from Injustice for All.
Oh God, yeah.
Yeah. Or Motley Crue, girls concert t-shirt. And that ended up on the back seat of a Volkswagen on the front, the back of a front seat. You know how back in the day we would take t-shirts and put them over the seats because our leather would get all torn up.
Right.
And that's where that shirt ended up, is just stretched out over the front seat. The back of a front. It's weird to say that. The back of a front seat. I'm struggling with that one.
Absolutely.
But that's where that ended up. Never thought to check. Shirt was bought back. Yeah, check it out on eBay.
I remember one of the things that whenever I went to a concert, I would literally always, when I was checking my funds, I would take like $40, fold it up, and shove it in the spot of my wallet because that was my T-shirt money.
Yep.
You know, because that was going to see the band, but I also had to pick up the tea. You know,
T-shirt, or you'd pick up the program guide.
Yeah.
And most of those program guides never survived because, first of all, you bought them at the concert. What did you do with it? Y'all rolled it up somehow so you could hold on to it. Like, it's not like you had a seat where you went down and you set it down, and then you could like take care of it. Like, you'd roll it up, put it in your back pocket. So they got crushed and munched. And what was I reading today? I forget who posted it. It was like Victor or someone, or Darren or someone, where Billy Joel no longer sells front row concert tickets.
Okay.
He said he was tired of the rich, boring people sitting at the front of his concerts, just staring at him, not moving. And I guess what the post was saying is now he sends his road crew out into the audience, and then they bring people up to the front of the stage because he wants it to be an actual concert where people in the front of the stage are excited to actually be there.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I was reading that post. I'm like, Billy Joel's music isn't, first of all, what I would consider like get up and dance in front of a stage type music, but he does have some rock songs and he does do some good stuff.
Well, it can also, I mean, if you're really into Billy Joel, you're gonna reflect that when you're there.
Yeah.
If you're, I've seen people at concerts. I mean, the one example is when I went and saw Foreigner. I hated that concert because it was almost like a recital. Everybody was just sitting there staring at the stage. I'm like, and the thing that was really bad about it was Cheap Trick opened for Foreigner, and we were crazy
with Cheap Trick. Yes, moshing out to Piano Man. I could see that happening.
That would be moshing at my age, Lenny. That would be a song because I can handle that.
Slow moving circle of people just walking in a circle complaining about their hip.
Slow moving limping circle.
Like the whole circle kind of shifts as it walks.
Well, actually, the weird thing for me on Piano Man is I actually taught myself how to play Piano Man on harmonica. I just would sit and listen, and I learned to play Piano Man on my harmonica.
Sweet.
By myself. So.
Yeah, I just thought that was a fascinating thing about Billy Joel. I'm like, first of all, he doesn't need the money. No, for Billy Joel, it's like, I don't give a shit. I don't care about the money. Yeah. He wants the experience. And if you really look at it, even famous people, actors, actresses, musicians, writers, even they want excitement in their life. Being on the stage for me would be exciting enough because I've never been on the stage to perform.
Right.
But as long as Billy Joel's been doing it, being on the stage has got to be just like me going to work and getting in my work truck and going to work. Yeah. Not that exciting.
And there's a lot of it that you feed off the audience.
Yes.
That keeps you going. And if you got it literally, if you're looking, because when you're on stage, you can only maybe see one or two rows in because the lights and all the other stuff. And if that front row is just kind of standing there staring at you, it affects you. It really does.
It's got to take your energy down.
Well, just in the short time I played drums in a band back when I was in my late teens, early 20s, if the crowd wasn't into it or if they weren't right, it affected the whole show. I mean,
you just go through the motions and get it over with.
Yeah, you're just going to God, get me off the stage. Yeah. Give me to the free beer. That was it.
No reason to do it. Hey, Rex is here. Rex would know what we're talking about.
We are talking. Well, we got around to music after all of our other topics.
First, we had to talk about laundry.
Yes, laundry.
And now we're talking about music. So we were talking about Billy Joel and how he doesn't sell front row tickets, and he brings fans down from the cheap seats because
I find it amazing that we started off talking about washing T-shirts and how to keep the graphics from fading and all that, and from there made it to Billy Joel.
Well, you got to keep. We started with Dune.
You have to go all the way back.
and transitioned all the way. Now we're talking Billy Joel. It's weird how our conversations go.
And that's why it's called What's New with Mike and Jeff, because we're really not sure what we're going to be talking about from moment to moment.
And my hair is almost there, buddy. I got my hair cut yesterday, and the lady was like, "Ooh, you're like 2 months away before all of the side pieces, these pieces get long enough to be
a ponytail.
All of it's just going to be in a big ponytail." And then I'm sure from there, my new chief will say, "You can't have long hair, cut it." And then you're going to see me ranting and raving on the show about something completely different.
Yep. And I'm prepared for that. I'm ready to go.
Anyways, everybody, it's 9 o'clock. We're going to cut it out. We're just BSing. Wednesday night,
I will be here. I got nothing unless my life explodes again. I got nothing going on, so I'll be here Wednesday, and I'll have a picture, Joe. I promise.
All right, Joe's my man bun. I don't know if I'm going to do it.
If you ever have a man bun, you're literally going to see me sign off. I'm going to go get on a plane. I'm going to fly to Phoenix. I'm going to find where you live, and I'm going to knock on your door and slap you.
No, I have no intention of doing a man bun. I just want to pull my hair back in a ponytail. I'm 51 years old, and I can still grow hair.
Well, that's good.
Like, that's the plus side to it all.
I think that's the only thing about me that hasn't aged. My hair is only gray on the temples here. My beard's white. And I still have a full head of hair. So
there you go. That's the important thing.
Yep.
All right, everybody. Well, thank you all very much. We will be back on Wednesday for a Wolf's Den. We'll be howling at the moon.
Absolutely.
And then we'll just take from there. So everybody keep posting pictures and have a good weekend. And we will be back on Wednesday. Talk to y'all later.
See you guys.
Bye. I just got to find the right